Hello friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always I want to thank you guys for subscribing to the Jobu Report and putting all the comments and everything else and sharing the stuff all over the place. That Stephen A. Smith video where we're trying to get under his skin, that's going all over the place. And in fact, my son gave me a great suggestion, and he said, Dad, you need to go ahead and start calling into the Stephen A. Smith show and start trolling his behind there. And that might just be what we do. Some good news. Got that colonoscopy done today, and any of you guys that are 50 or older and haven't had that done, get it checked, because it's one of those things that you don't have any symptoms until it's too late. And I, in fact, had 6 polyps that they ended up removing. Fortunately, none of them were cancerous, but it's one of those things that if you get in there early, it's not a problem to take care of it. If you wait too long, it's not good news. So once you turn 50 or older, do that. And this is No Shave November to remind you guys about cancer. But I'm not going to talk too much about the Baltimore Ravens game. We've got the Redskins on Thursday, and now all of a sudden the Redskins are coming out of the woodwork. But before I get to that, I just want to give you my thoughts about the whole Tony Romo situation. And a lot of you guys think that you should keep Tony Romo on the team. He'd make a great backup and yada, yada, yada. But what I always try and do with the Jobu Report is I try and give you guys a different view from what you get from everywhere else. I try and give you something else to think about or relate it to something that you may understand. And watching that game and seeing Tony Romo on the sidelines actually kind of hurt just watching him. Let me show you guys something here. I was at Jason Witten's football camp. We were doing a photo shoot there years ago, and I got this hard hat sign, Tony Romo on that side, and it's Jason Witten on the other side, along with Terrence Newman. So it's not that I'm not a Tony Romo fan, but when we deal with all of this stuff, it's about the team and what is the best thing for the team, and that's what it all boils down to. After the season's over, it's probably going to be better that he's traded or let go. And here's my reason why. And I'm sure I'm going to have some fans out there that are going to cuss me out and stop following, and that's fine. I'm just trying to give you why it's bad for both sides. Imagine that you've been with this woman for, say, 10 years. You guys have been a great couple. You've been through hard times together. Life has been good sometimes. Other times it has not. But you guys have been there for each other. Well, the two of you guys break up. She starts seeing another guy. But you guys are still living underneath the same house. Every time you see that woman, as a guy, once you sleep with somebody, you're always going to wonder, what kind of panties is she wearing? So is she wearing the satin ones? Oh, maybe she's got those lace panties on. Oh, no. Maybe she's got the see-through panties on. And what's even worse is, you're in the room right next to them. You can hear them next door having a great time and everything else. That's where Tony Romo is right now. Tony Romo on the sidelines wants to play football. And I think that he'll say, you know what, I'm going to give up some of this money so I can still do this week after week. No, that's just too painful. It's too painful, especially if they're successful. The other side of that is, a lot of you Cowboy fans, the Baltimore Ravens have a good defense, okay? They may not have played a lot of good teams, but that is a sizable defense that can put pressure on. And they were blitzing the hell out of Dak Prescott. And it took us some time to get used to doing that. Some of the comments that I was seeing in just the first quarter, that you would think that this was Brandon Wheaton that we had starting out there. And a lot of you guys are like, you got Tony Romo on the sideline. We need to put Tony Romo in. It's like, you can't do this. It's too much problems and headaches for both sides. It's going to make Tony Romo resent the Cowboys and being there as second string, knowing he can still play. It's bad for Dak Prescott, wondering if, everybody's going to start calling for him to be benched the moment they lose a game, and they will lose some games at some point. There is no team that's been undefeated forever. So there will be adversity. But you've got to make sure this guy knows he's got the full support of the team. In the same sense, you don't want Tony Romo to be the distraction. Now, I know, we need a backup. Well, as much fun as I've made of butt fumble, Mark Sanchez is still a capable quarterback. There's some teams out there right now that wish they had him for a starting quarterback. And the other reality is, if Tony Romo is cut after June 1st, basically we'll save $54 million on the cap. And it's not on Tony Romo. He wasn't overpaid. They ended up using Tony Romo's contract as a piggy bank because of other bad contracts that they had. So sooner or later, that bill was going to come due, and it's come due. So you cut him, you save $54 million, you take that one-time cap hit for next year, which you can absorb because you're not paying Jack for Dak, and you're out from under that. And you end up with another $5.5 million of cap space for next year. The reverse of that is you hold on to them and you got $54 million over the next few years that you're still paying on. You can't do that. And unfortunately, football is a business. When they're done with you in football, they're done with you. And it doesn't matter who you are. You can be Joe Montana and win, Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls. And when they see a better option or a cheaper option, like Steve Young, they're going to go with it. And it's not anything new. It's part of the football life. It's just the way it is. Tony's side of it, he's thinking, I still want to win that ring. And if I go to Denver with that defense, they get a few pieces around me, we can do something. They did it with Peyton Manning, who was truly not anything of a quarterback last year, and Brock Osweiler, where they paid $75 million to go to Houston, and is not doing crap. I can understand that. So, guys, you got to take your emotions out of the whole Tony Romo situation. You got to look what's best for the team, because regardless, the team is going to still continue to move forward. And as always, guys, I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo. And this short week, we have the Washington Redskins. And boy, they're getting to be a little mouthy. I believe they said, we want Dallas after they won last night. But I'll have a lot more on the Washington Redskins coming up. And, of course, all through this week. And, again, thank you guys for liking the Joe Boot Report. I'm Mark Holmes. That's Cowboy Joe Boo.